Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Cup of Joe show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy. We've got a ton to talk about tonight, or today, depending on when you're watching this. We're talking about it tonight, this evening, this morning. Um, we've seen a couple movies this past week. We just got out of Fantastic Four. So, as we started the show, I asked Jeremy, should we do the good news or the bad news first? And he said he always likes to get the bad news first. So, we're going to give you the bad news, which I'm sure you've already known if you've seen, if you've seen reviews or just anything about the movie in the past year. I guess it all came true. Jeremy, I honestly, I don't even know what to say about the film, so I'm gonna throw it to you, but throw it right back if you have nothing. This could be the shortest review in the history of our movie reviews.
I guess to put it relatively succinctly, Fantastic Four is a completely irredeemable piece of trash that doesn't have a single good aspect about it. Everything about it, whatever potential it may have had at one point in the developmental process, was completely wasted. You know, you have a relatively talented cast of the eponymous Fantastic Four. Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan, Jamie Bell, and Kate Mara are all, good, charismatic young actors and actress. But when the directing and script are as god-awful as they were, they don't really have anything to work with. And you also get the impression that all four of them realized, what a train wreck this was, so they just totally phoned it in. Like, none of them really cared. They're just reading lines, basically, and reading awful lines at that. So, the plot makes no sense. It meanders all over the place. The tone isn't right. It doesn't suit the movie. It's weird when you're watching this Fantastic Four and you think to yourself, wow, I want to watch the old ones. At least they were light and fun, and even though they weren't good necessarily, they were harmless. If the first Fantastic Four is on TV, I'll watch it. It's not that bad. But this one is just, it's an atrocity. It's it's insulting. It really is. And Joe and I basically saw this to see how bad it was. We were genuinely curious to see. And in that department, it did not disappoint.
No, it didn't disappoint. I'm not going to say it was, it hit below my expectations, but, these were where my expectations already were. So it hit the very low expectations. You're so right about everything you said. Even from the beginning, those two kids they used for Reed Richards and Ben Grimm, they were talking robotic. It was literally robotic.
They may have been robots.
They may have been robots, honestly. I don't know. That would make more sense.
I am building a teleporter.
Yes. Did it work? Reed? Yes? You're insane. Thank you. This is literally, we actually did a more emotionally powerful acting job right there.
Yeah.
So even from the start, you're absolutely right about the tone. I think that a Fantastic Four lends itself to be light. You could have, it could be not as light as our. I'm not gonna say the original because there was that awful one way
90s,
back
yeah.
when, but the couple in the 2000s. You don't have to go that light about it, but the Fantastic Four should be light, and it was not. It wasn't light. All right, it didn't even feel like the Fantastic Four. Let's just go get down to brass tacks here. It didn't feel like it. It was odd. It was just, tonally off. And I love these actors, and I actually like really love these people, at least in one property that they've been in. And Jamie Bell's actually one of the best actors that like I feel like no one really knows about. I'm waiting for him to get in like something really good, because he's been the best part of a lot of crap, unfortunately, and I really was hoping that this would be the thing, but it I didn't mean to do that. He plays the thing, but anyway, I mean, it's just like, I guess it builds to this huge. It's supposed to be a big fight scene, and it's just like nothing. Like literally nothing. I'm struggling to figure out things to say about the film because nothing happens. There's
literally like 2 instances when Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, uses his powers. Like that's
right.
it. Like he hardly ever does. And also like when they initially get their powers, it's kind of like, okay, they have no control over them, and it's like kind of, a little scary in some aspects, but then they don't go anywhere with that, and it's just like, whoop, 1 year later, they have control of their powers.
Control of their powers, that's it.
Wait, what? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, alright, cool.
I find the whole, like, I'll get into spoiler territory, because please don't see this movie. I mean, the Reed Richards, like, he just, like, leaves. I thought that was weird. I don't know what he was trying to do. It's just, you could just tell that, like, I mean, not that we know that the reports were true about Josh Trank showing up drunk, but I mean, all roads lead to that after seeing this film. I mean, it was, man, it was pretty bad, and I guess I should have never had hope for this film, and I did. I thought there would be no way that they would make a movie worse than the 2 that came out, and to this day, the best thing that the Fantastic Four has ever done in the movie universe is make a trailer for The Rise of the Silver Surfer. It was great. That trailer was great. And is still probably to this day. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's still probably great and would still get me excited for a movie that didn't live up to expectations. But I mean, this is the worst. I can't believe that this movie was that bad.
It doesn't even work as like an unintentional comedy. Like
No.
It's not one of those things that just has like laughably awful scenes. The scenes are just like awfully awful. Like it's just like you're just sitting there and you're just like, it's just boring, and it just it puts you to sleep, and it's not entertaining on any level whatsoever.
Yeah, and Victor Von Doom looked friggin' stupid.
Let's not even go into that.
We shouldn't, because we're already deep into the show. But oh my god! All right, there's a scene where he's like exploding heads. Like, it's so, like, I feel like that scene would fit in a different film, but, like, it was so weird. It was just so out of place. And, like, his mouth didn't move when he talked, and it just, alright.
It also doesn't make any sense because, like, before they got their powers, Dr. Doom was, like, he was a bit of a self-righteous dick, but he wasn't evil. He was just a little...
Right.
But then, like, all of a sudden, it's just like, nope, you know what, whatever, I'm gonna destroy Earth, why not?
Yes.
And also I'm gonna wear a cloak for no reason, just so I look like the comic Dr. Doom a little. But, like...
Correct.
Where did he even get the cloak in that other dimension? Like, it's nothing but, like, rocks and wasteland.
Yeah, exactly. What did he eat? I don't know. But, and also, I guess we'll try to go last point. The Sue Storm, like, orb thing just didn't work for me. It just didn't. How is she able... She just flew everyone around everywhere. And that, I don't know, that didn't work for me. Maybe that does happen in the comics, but, like, it just... nothing translated to the screen right here. I didn't read the comics. I have no idea. So if anything is from the comic, and I don't think it even is, a lot of it, I just don't see it. But yeah, no, this movie was garbage. If they were trying to make a movie worse than the two that came out in the 2000s, they did it. They accomplished it, and I'm legitimately impressed that they did. I'm legitimately impressed. So, stay away from this movie. You got anything else?
To this day, I still think that the first Fantastic Four movie from the mid-2000s is not awful. I find it entertaining, and it has redeemable aspects. Rise of the Silver Surfer is awful, but I just want to say that the first one I don't think is that bad. It's not a good movie, but I don't think it's terrible.
That's fair. And the actors have some sort of chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
I think that Chris Evans is actually very good in both movies.
I liked Michael Chiklis as the Thing.
Michael Chiklis is also, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you. So, they have redeeming qualities. This legitimately doesn't have one.
No.
You know, so, anyway.
Whew.
Let's talk about the
while.
good. Yeah, it took really long. You may be skipping the box office at this rate. Let's talk about the good. All right, Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. When I say this, I may be reactionary. I think I have to see it again, but I mean, this movie was the best Mission Impossible that we have seen. And I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. Maybe I'll revisit this down the road, but man, I mean, this movie legitimately took everything that's great about every movie in front of it and took the motorcycle scene from Mission Impossible 2 and hugely improved on it. Didn't add slow motion, John Woo. And there are so many memorable moments to this movie. I cannot say enough about it. This is going to go down as one of my favorite movies of the year. I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat for it. And that's difficult to do in a franchise when you know no one's actually going to die. At least like you think. Maybe like one side character. But, I mean, this movie legitimately had me on the edge of my seat. And it was fun at the same time. They fused the humor in there. There were amazing stunts. I mean, it's just, man, this movie was a legitimate masterpiece. And I don't know how they did it for the 5th movie in a franchise. Granted, they kind of reinvent the story every time, and I think that's kind of how it works. But this is half a continuation, and they did a hell of a job with this movie. I'm extremely happy, and you could see why they moved it up from December to the summer, because they had such faith in it, and you totally see why.
This was actually the second Mission Impossible movie that I had seen. I had seen none of them for the longest time, and I watched the first one shortly before seeing this one. Still haven't gotten around to the others. I'll have to do that. May skip 2 though, because I hear it's awful. But anyway, yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that you said. I won't sing its praises quite so highly. But that said, it's a very, very, very entertaining picture. You know, it's fast-paced. It has lots of great action scenes. You know, also some dramatic parts in there. So, you know, it's serious when it needs to be, that kind of thing. Tom Cruise is in top form, despite being, 53, 2, 5?
Sure.
He's in his 50s. And, you know, everyone else is good. You know, the side characters, Jeremy Renner, Alec Baldwin, Simon Pegg, you know, everyone does a really good job with that. Rebecca Ferguson as the main woman was good and quite sexy, if I may say so. So yeah, just a very, very good. It's just a fun movie. You know, you just have a good time with it, and you know, if you want to torture yourself, you know, you can go see Fantastic Four. If you want to have a really, really good time, go see Mission Impossible. And funnily enough, Mission Impossible its second weekend might be Fantastic Four's first. We'll have to see on that, but it's a possibility. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you said a name right there, Rebecca Ferguson. I mean, who is this girl? She was awesome in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of the stunts she did, but it seemed like she did a lot of them. You could see her face a lot. So I mean, she was remarkable. She added something that sorry to say, Paula Patton, you didn't. I Paula Patton's like the Jai Courtney of like women. So I'm glad that they got this new girl in there because she was phenomenal and she actually stole certain scenes. I like the dynamic of her and Tom Cruise because like Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt is kind of like this agent. You feel like he's not like the best agent, but he's has the will and the intelligence to just make it through. And his dynamic against Rebecca Ferguson, who's actually I think a better agent than him. It was just interesting to see that dynamic, and it just works so well, and it just helped you like relate to Ethan Hunt, and that's why I just thought everything just came together so well in this movie. The only two gripes. I think they sort of misused Jeremy Renner's character because a lot of the time he was just like, "We can't do that. I'm gonna call the government." Like, why he didn't have to do like that was him in the last movie. He should have like adjusted and been more on Ethan's side. There was no need for him to be like a blocker in the movie. And you also have they didn't need to stoop to like Fast and Furious levels with Rebecca Ferguson. Like, she's beautiful. We know. You didn't have to like specifically point it out. It felt like a Bond slash Fast and Furious, like going out of the pool with in a bikini and like walking and showing like her entire leg, and it was just like. And of course, when she had to try to shoot someone, she put like her leg up, and they tried to show her off, and that kind of annoyed me a little bit because I don't think Mission Impossible is a Bond or a Fast, and I think it should have stepped apart from that. But those are like two very minor things. Like you said, this is a lot of fun. It's so much fun, and I just think it encapsulated everything that's great about the series, and they packed it into one film. And go see that.
Yeah.
Multiple times. I will see that 13 times in the theater before going to see Fantastic Four again. Okay, what do we have? 2 minutes?
Yep.
We have 2 minutes.
Like
what do you want to do?
well, just to touch on the box office of Mission Impossible, it opened to about 55 last weekend, which is a really solid start. It's hard to compare it to Ghost Protocol, because that opened in December and it had like a limited release and like a slow rollout kind of thing. So it's hard to say where Rogue Nation might be going. Fantastic Four isn't going to offer really any competition or resistance. So I think that Rogue Nation shouldn't have any problem doing really well throughout August and should finish with probably like 175, 180. Has an outside chance at getting to 200.
Which is fine because it'll do gangbusters overseas.
Yeah, well.
I mean, considering, they go to like every country, I feel like, in these movies. Yeah. So, yeah. No, that's, and that's great because this is a great film. So, I guess to touch quickly, we saw Fantastic Four and, it wasn't good. So we have like Ricky and the Flash with Meryl Streep.
She'll get nominated.
Here comes the Oscar nomination. Yep. Mm-hmm. I have no interest.
Nope. Shaun the Sheep movie.
Yep. Again, no interest, but amazing reviews. I don't get it though.
Speaking of amazing reviews, The Gift also has amazing reviews. I thought this looked like the kind of movie that would have like a 10-15% of Rotten Tomatoes. I thought it looked absolutely horrible. I like Joel Edgerton, but
yeah, mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, really, it's good. It's getting great reviews. So that might be the one to check out this weekend. But ultimately, if you want to have fun, just go see Mission Impossible. If you haven't seen it, if you have seen it, just see it again. It was great, and we'll have to check out The Gift. I don't know, maybe it's pretty good. So
perhaps.
Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the talk on movies, because that's pretty much all we did. So, have a good week, guys.